let's start with some international news first, where North Korean leader Kim Jong-un had a meeting with the South Korean special envoys on Monday in Pyongyang. Now, North Korea's state news agency KCNA has reported that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un had agreed with the South Korean delegation's talks. That the news agency has also reported that North Korea has made an agreement with South Korea, but the details of the agreement were not given. Now, Sam Nunberg, a former political aide to the US President Donald Trump, has said that he will refuse to comply with a subpoena to testify before a grand jury in the United States Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential campaign. Now, Nunberg was in fact fired from the Republicans' campaign in August 2015. Mueller has charged several Trump associates and more than a dozen Russians for interference in the 2016 US presidential campaigning. The former Russian spy Sergei Skripal, who was convicted by Russia of betraying agents to British intelligence, is critically ill. Skripal fell ill after exposure to an unidentified substance in Britain. The British police have said that about two people, a 66-year-old man and also a 33-year-old woman, had been found unconscious on a bench in a shopping centre on Sunday in the southern English city of Salisbury after exposure to the unknown substance. Eight trucks reached Syria's eastern Ghouta region on Monday for the first time since the start of one of the war's deadliest assaults. But the Syrian government has stripped some medical supplies from the convoy and is pressed on with its air and ground assault. The convoy of more than 40 trucks pulled out without fully unloading supplies during a 9-hour stay. The comedian Bill Cosby pre-trial hearing has begun at a Pennsylvania court. The hearing was whether to allow testimony at his retrial on sexual misconduct charges by 19 other women. The Cosby's first criminal trial ended in a mistrial in June when jurors failed to reach a unanimous verdict. He has presently been charged with drugging and then assaulting Andrea Constant, a former administrator with the women's basketball team at his alma mater, Temple University. Now, nearly 3 weeks after the shooting at Florida's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, which had left 17 people dead, the school's marching band performed at the Carnegie Hall in New York. Now, the students say that the music has really helped them cope with the tragedy. Classes have also resumed at the high school. The Bolivia's former president Gonzalo Lozada and also his former defense minister Carlos Sanchez Berzain will stand trial in Florida in the United States of America. They've been accused of ordering the Bolivian military to use violence to tamp down anti-government demonstrations in the year 2003. Now, the incident has left more than 60 people dead. Now, 6 people were arrested after supporters of white nationalist Richard Spencer clashed with protesters outside a Michigan college campus. Richard Spencer was scheduled to speak on the campus and fights broke out on a road leading to the university campus. A group of migrant activists in Mexico City have protested outside the U.S. Embassy to demand protection for children who work and study in the United States under the DACA program. The US President Donald Trump has reportedly offered a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million young illegal immigrants after he announced his government will scrap the DACA program and will come up with an alternative plan. The US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson welcomed foreign ministers from Estonia, Latvia and also Lithuania to the State Department on Monday. Security and economic cooperation will be on the agenda for the meeting between the four leaders. The Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has met with the Coptic Pope Tawadros II at Cairo's largest Coptic cathedral. This was an unprecedented visit by an official from Saudi Arabia, and the visit was part of a 3-day stay in Egypt for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his first public trip abroad since he's become the heir apparent last year. He'll also be heading to Britain and then to the United States later this month. The French President Emmanuel Macron has expressed support for Benin's political reforms during President Patrice Talon's visit to Paris. President Macron has also announced cooperation agreements with Benin in helping develop tourism and cultural preservation. France is also committed to helping Benin battle climate change with a €58 million program to promote sustainable cities. Residents of Russia's Chechnya have released balloons in the colors of the Russian flag to support the upcoming presidential elections. Over 4,000 people gathered in front of the Chechen State University holding white, blue and red balloons. The crowd formed the numbers 2018 and a tick in a box and also the national Russian tricolour. Russians will vote on the 18th of March in a presidential poll which the current leader Vladimir Putin is widely expected to win. The thousands of teachers in the Argentine capital of Buenos Aires have marched to the Ministry of Education in a wage dispute with the government. The Argentinian government has cut down on social spending, which has led to protests from public workers. The public school teachers across the country are holding a 48-hour strike over the wage dispute. The educators are demanding the government should in fact increase spending on salaries, books, equipment and also new schools. Slovakia's Prime Minister has come under pressure to change his cabinet following protests after an investigative journalist was murdered in the country. The Prime Minister Robert Fico has said that he is ready to discuss political issues with his two coalition partners but will not be pressurized to shake up his cabinet. The 27-year-old Jan Kuciak and also his fiancée were shot dead. Kuciak was investigating tax fraud cases and links between businessmen and politicians. The Utica College in upstate New York was placed on a lockdown and students were asked to gather in one place after two phone calls were made threatening the college. The armed law enforcement officers evacuated the buildings and there is no information yet about the nature of the threat. Alright, let's also now take a quick look as to what is making news in India, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating a new building for Central Information Commission in New Delhi today. The new building will enable the Commission to function from a single location. Karti Chidambaram's CBI custody ends today. He'll be produced in Patiala House Court. Karti Chidambaram has challenged the Enforcement Directorate's summons and the Supreme Court has agreed to hear Karti Chidambaram's plea. The Karti Chidambaram is being investigated for alleged irregularities in FIPP clearances to INX Media. The Congress President Rahul Gandhi has accused the BJP of usurping power and forming an opportunistic alliance in Meghalaya. Rahul Gandhi has tweeted against the BJP saying, and I quote, BJP is obsessed with grabbing power and has shown utter disregard for the mandate of the people.